Good day, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the Netflix series Barbarians, as it came out uh, earlier this year, maybe a couple of months ago. I can't remember exactly when. Anyways, Barbarians. It takes place. Supposed to be a historical, theatrical thing that takes place at the around the years 1 or 2 A.D. and it's about the German tribes and how they take on the Roman Empire. And I guess spoiler alert: the barbarians win the battle. They don't waste any time telling you this in the description, so I don't feel like the necessity to say, spoiler alert there. So this first part will be about reviews, and I like this series, the show Barbarians. It's got about everything you need that you would want. You got your action, you got your political intrigue, and you got a little romance in there. Throw that in there, and a little too, and it's an enjoyable experience. The acting is okay, it's decent. Sometimes it's could be better, and other times it's really good. Probably the best actor of the series is probably the guy who plays Ari, and then the girl. I can't pronounce her name. Desilda, I think is how you pronounce her name. She's okay in times, and then you have your still can't remember the character's name. Very bad at that, but you have your warrior guy who's really skillful with the sword, and he's good. He's a good actor too, and so they. And I mentioned those three because they're the ones who carry they're the main characters and they're the ones that carry the show. The show it's like I said, it's very good. It's political. It has if you like political intrigue, it has that aspect. It plays pretty heavily into it. It also has your dastardly little criminal, the guy that you hate. You're like, man, I wish this guy would die because he's kind of always backstabbing or trying to go behind the scenes to get more power. In this case, it's one of the German villagers who happens to be. I'm going to. I'm going to mess her name pretty bad, but Del Zelda's father. I mean, right off the beginning, you know this guy is a creep and that he's not really trustworthy. And throughout the whole series, you're like, man, or this season at least, like, man, I hope this guy gets his upcomings in the end. And it's just one of those characters where you need to hate because he makes the show better. So in this Barbarians, like I said, you got the Romans who are trying to control the Germanic tribes, and it begins right away with them doing heavy taxes on the German tribes, and you got a little play between the older generation and the younger generation. The king, who's in the older generation, he's all about trying to avoid conflict, trying to avoid war, and those who are his age kind of agree with him that they need to try to do what they can to avoid any kind of bloodshed between them and the Romans. Even though the taxes that the Romans are trying to put on them are a little high and probably more than what they could afford, and will put great stress upon the tribes. However, the younger generation, which is the guy who's really good with the swords, again, I don't even want to try to guess his name because I know I'll get it wrong. And so that generation, the younger generation, are all for freedom. Let's go to battle with these Romans. Let's drive them away. Let's kill them. And so for half of the season, at least for the first 3 or 4 episodes, you have this conflict between the older generation and the younger generation on how to handle the Romans. And then you got Ari, he's an interesting character. He was the son of the chief or the king of a German tribe. They call him Reich, and he's basically given to the Romans at a young age as a hostage, per se, as they had back in those time periods. And he was basically raised as a Roman from a young boy up to he was a grown man, and he learned the Roman ways, learned to start worshiping their gods, and learn their military tactics. And so, at the beginning of this, you see that he comes back to Germany, and the governor of this province is trying to use him to rein in these Germanic tribes to get them to do what they want. and basically there's at a point where he kind of goes away from that. I don't want to give much more away from that right now at this beginning because I want to make the beginning of this as a non-spoiler. But anyway, so you get a big battle at the end. There could be a little bit more action, and action could be, the fighting scenes could be a little bit more desired. They do get kind of gruesome. You do see beheadings and lots of blood, and there is, other mature thematics in this. So it is very much for mature audiences. I enjoyed it. It was very entertaining for me. I would recommend it if you have the time. If you enjoy historical or dated movies or shows, this is great. This would be great for you. If like you enjoyed Tudors or Game of Thrones. I mean, it's not at the level of Game of Thrones, especially the level of the early seasons of Game of Thrones. But there's enough there to keep you interested. So from here on out, I mean, that's my review. I think it's a great show. It ends where they could very much do a season 2, and I hope they do, because I think season 2 could be even more, could even be better than season 1. But I'm going to leave it like that. So that's my review. From here on out, I'm going to talk about spoilers about parts of the show I like and some scenes I like about it. So if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. I know it's been out for a while, so most of you have probably already seen it. But if you've been interested in saying, well, maybe I might not, I'll go ahead and at least watch the first episode and see what you think. It's at least worth the first episode view. Alright, so some of the spoilers. So I really enjoyed this, and I enjoyed the 3 main characters and their relationship with each other, and how that developed throughout the series. At the beginning, it's very clear that Delsmelda, I guess is her name, if I pronounce it right, and the guy is really good with the sword skills. Let me see if I can check on my notes real quick. Sorry, just bear with me. I don't like calling him the sales guy. Falkwan. I don't know why I couldn't. That's not hard to pronounce. Falkwan. And Falkwan, I like Falkwan. He's like he's one of those charismatic characters you always see in these kind of fantasy, even though this is not really a fantasy show, but he's real good with the sword. He's charismatic. He's able to talk, get people on his side for the most part, though he does fail. And which is good about this show is that the heroes do fail. So those two are really close at the beginning, and they're trying to get these tribes to go to war, and they're having little to no success at that part. But that's good. But then we got sorry, I got stuffed nose. Then we got Ari, I guess. He comes in here, and he turns traitor on the Roman government, and in order to get the tribes to join them, he ends up marrying Delsmelda as a political plan in order to reunite the tribes. And they kind of have to do this because Falkwan is kind of wanted from the Roman army at that time, and so he can't really be the face of this rebellion because of that. But however, because Ari, he's in the governor's good graces, because the governor treats him as a kid, as a son, and he kind of looks as this Roman leader, governor, as a father figure, and then he marries Delsmelda, who's under the radar of the Romans, but is starting to gain respect among the German tribe. Now, I have read, like, in IMDb, I know I went to the comics, and some people were talking about how this kind of could be like a SJW part, where they make Delsmelda as the face of the rebellion. And as I see it, this kind of would make sense at this particular time, because one, the German tribes don't really trust Ari, and because he's been loyal to the Romans, and at the beginning he kind of shows he doesn't come out as somebody who's going to be faithful to the Germanic tribe, as he's doing the Romans' bidding. And then you have Falkwan, who is wanted by the Romans, and so he has to be in hiding. So it's kind of hard for him to be the face of the tribe. So it only makes sense for Delsmelda, and they kind of make her lie about how she's a source, not really sorceress, but she's able to see things from the gods have given her gifts so she can see the future and such. And this plays a big part in her storyline, as there's another mystic priestess, I guess, who actually can communicate with the gods, and she's telling her she's going to be cursed, and the gods are going to look unfavorable to her because she's been lying about her abilities, and this plays a part in the end. And I kind of like that storyline. And then you got Desmelda's father, who, man, he's just such a weasel. And the whole time I was hoping he would get his uppings at the end of the season, or the series, depending if they go for another season. And he's always going behind everybody's back, trying to get to where he's the king. He even declared himself king at one point. And then like a day later, Aerie shows up and ruins his plans, and he's upset at Aerie. Even though Aerie is married to his daughter, he doesn't like him, and he's making his own plans now. After they defeated the Romans, now he's making his own plans with another king guy. I think he's another king, but he's another important figure from another tribe. And basically how season 1 ends is, even though they defeated the Romans, now we're starting to see a little conflict intertwined between the tribes. We have Folkman, who is in love with Desmelda, but because she married Aerie and they was together for such a long time, they developed a love for each other. And now he's all jealous. He's upset at Aerie. He's telling Aerie he's going to kill him. And then you have her father, who is going behind their backs, trying to do other alliances, other tribes to basically undercut them. And so you got that storyline going on. So season 2 is going to be really good with those two aspects alone. And then you got the third one where Desmelda is pregnant, but it seems like it's not Aerie's child, because the priestess told her, gods have other ways of punishing you, and she points at Desmelda's stomach. And I don't really understand that part, because she's only with Aerie. And the only part I can think of is at the very end, and I think it's the last episode, maybe the episode before that. There's a scene where it looks like she's about to get raped, but it feels like something interfered with it. But I could be wrong. But there was nothing to happen, but yet she got pregnant from it. So maybe something did happen. That's the only way I can think of, that she'd be pregnant by another man, and the man that she was raped by or tried to rape her was the guy at the beginning that was trying to marry her. He was offering cows or something to marry her or something, whatever, that kind of time period where you have dowries and stuff, if I'm pronouncing that right. So I'm really excited for season 2. I hope they go with it. I like the intrigue, the political aspect that's going on, so I don't really know. And as far as, I probably should have said this at the beginning, as far as the historical accuracy of this, I have no idea. I know a little bit about Roman history, not enough to know about the German part of the Roman history. I didn't study that part at all, but you never get your history from television shows, because 99% of it's usually false, and the 1% it will be some truths. I mean, part of the only truths that I can think of right now is that there was a big battle between the Romans and the Germanic tribe at this time period, but everything else, I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody else does. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Are you excited for season 2 as I am? Did you like it? Did you think this series is terrible? Did you think it wasn't worth watching? But, if you thought it was worth watching, I'm interested in hearing your comments. And until next time, I hope everybody's having a great time. Bye.